Welcome to WagerTalk TV. I am Drew Martin. We're talking ACC championship game with Brian Leonard from WagerTalk.com and Teddy Covers from SportsMemo.com. Guys,
so excited to say your name.
I know, yeah, he's got that extra oomph. I love it. Appreciate it.
Mr. Covers, man. It's well-deserved. And, guys, we're talking Virginia versus Clemson. Big favorite here on the board. We got a 4-touchdown favorite. It's even been bought up since when it opened. We're seeing Clemson minus 28, 55 being the total. Of course, this one, neutral site game. Neutral site in quotation marks. Brian, start off with you, man. Clemson versus Virginia. You looking to get involved?
I am. At this number, I'm on Clemson. I don't want to bet Clemson minus 28.5. I think this number's as high as I would play it. But what you have to take a look at is Virginia's off a huge, huge game. One of the biggest games that I can remember for that program.
Broke a 15-year losing streak.
Losing streak, yeah. And the way they did it in that game, the way it all turned out, it was just an exciting game, and it was a great game to watch. Virginia has a good run defense. They only allow 3.5 yards a carry, but Clemson is elite, 6.5 yards per carry. And when you take a look at Virginia, this was a team coming into the season. I don't know if you guys thought very highly of them, but I thought this was a team we could make some money on this year. And just down the stretch, you know, they only allowed 338 yards per game on the year, but the last 4 games, 483, 392, 372, 539. So as the year's gone on, this defense is starting to really wear out. As it was early in the season, was dominant. It's not dominant anymore. And now they're playing this Clemson team, who right now, I found it amazing. The most points Clemson has allowed this year, do you guys have any idea?
They give up. They think about 17, have they?
20 in one game. And I think every other game was 14 or less. That's amazing to be this far along, and that defense is that good. Now, granted, they've played a weaker schedule based on this conference having a down year. But I don't see how Virginia can match points with Clemson here. And you've got a Virginia defense, as I said, is really tiring out. And they are coming off of that big win. It's tough to get up like this 2 weeks in a row. I like Virginia 28 or less.
28 or less, liking the dog here. And you bring up
the favorite. Oh, excuse me. I like for Clemson 28 or less.
Okay, liking the favorite, excuse me. And yeah, you bring up the fact that Virginia, their defense, they did lose their best defender, Brian. And since he's gone out, the yardage has gone up. Teddy, 28, 55 the total. What are you thinking?
Okay, so a priori, there's 2 teams that I'm not going to bet against. I'm not betting against Ohio State. I'm not betting against Clemson. So Virginia's off the table. Okay? They are. When we're talking about the 2 best teams in college football, and that's where my power ratings have them, and 2 teams that at no point this season has the market really caught up with. You know, Clemson got off to a slow start. That slow start was done by about the first week of October, and they've dominated everyone since. And legitimately dominated.
Once they had the close game against North Carolina, that was it.
Yeah, they've gone a heck of a run.
That was I think the end of September, wasn't it?
No.
Whatever. Which meant that from the beginning of October, maybe it was the second week of October. So Clemson's a team I only want to be betting on. You know, we haven't seen the markets catch up. The problem is, I watched Virginia lose to Notre Dame. I watched them lose to Miami. And in both of they're really their 2 worst offensive games of the season. They were right there with Notre Dame. And even in a Miami game where their offensive line just got blown off the line of scrimmage, they still didn't get blown out. It's a QB who can make plays. He can make plays out of nothing. And that concerns me enough that I'm not going to lay the 28. I will say this. I think there is at least modest correlation between side and total in this game, particularly with the Virginia side. Virginia will not cover this spread, I don't think, unless the game goes over the total. They have to score to do it. I'm with you that Clemson's going to be able to get theirs. The only question in my mind is whether Virginia finds a way to get some points on the board, in which case they're live potentially to cover, and the game's more likely to go over the total. So if I'm playing Virginia, I might try to maximize that investment with a play on the over, but I'm not playing Virginia. It's Clemson or pass.
That's against what your normal thought process would be. Exactly. With a 28-point underdog. You'd tend to think that the defense should be able to slow them down. That was an interesting point. And you talked about the Irish as well as Miami. The problem is, are the Irish or Miami anywhere as good as what we thought they were going to be coming into the season? The Irish at times have looked good, but Miami has just been a train wreck all year.
No, Miami played good football in November for an extended stretch. Yeah, I mean, they weren't. I understand that it wasn't great against. They had more than their fair share of bad performances, but from a level of the athletes on the field. Okay, those were the two most, I think, athletic teams they played, and maybe the Virginia Tech team they played last week. So when we're thinking about how they're going to play against the best athletes they're seeing all year this week at Clemson, I can only look back on my memory and say, I remember how they played here, I remember how they played there against, athletes that may not be of the quality they're going to see this week, but still something that was better than most of the garbage that was the ACC.
Good athletes, maybe not as well coached.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not betting Clemson or pass. I'm with you. I mean, I don't know how many. I'm not fading them.
All right. Favorite or pass for Teddy and Brian. Follow them on Twitter at Teddy_covers and at BLeonardSports. Also, remember, it's $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. All daily packages for Monday's action are only $9, including any 5% best bets, normally priced at $40.